here we will begin with the endochondral bones. At the very beginning, in this center begins the diaphyse, or cartilage slowly breaks down. The next step here, the peristeum forms from connective tissue. And then, as you can see, it is continuing to grow. Blood vessels and osteoclasts form from the peristeum, which invade, and then we have some spongy bones that begin to form. And as it continues to grow, secondary ossification appears and spongy bone in all directions. So you can see the spongy bones begin to grow. The epithelial plate remains between these two ossification. The medullary cavity is also growing. Compact bone is also there. And then at the very end, we do have a complete adult grown bone with full of spongy bone throughout inside. Then we have the articular cartilage on either end, and then the epithelial plate is still present, which is visible there, and then up above, and that is the endochondral bones. Next, we have the bone repair. So at the beginning of the rupture, we do have where blood vessels rupture, which then creates a hematoma. And then as it begins to repair, new blood vessels are forming. We do have the fibrocartilage that begins to form where the spongy bone was present. The spongy bone does form in regions where the new blood vessels are appearing. And then down below, we have the hard bony cell, which is again in the center where the rupture was. It is replaced by fibrocartilage, and at the end we do have the new bone, which osteoclasts remove excess bone tissue, restoring new bone structure, much like to how the original bone was once. And then here we have the 5 different types of fractures. The first one, we do have the fissured fracture, which is incomplete in longitude, meaning that it is up and down. And then we do have the complete fracture, the comminuted fracture, which is fragments, so it is broken into pieces. And then we do have the transverse fracture, which is a complete break from the right angle to the axis, so it is just completely fractured there. And then down below, we do have the oblique fracture, which is at an angle, versus the transverse fracture, which is across. This one goes in an angle. And then the last fracture that we have is a spiral, which is caused by excess twisting. And as you can see, I do have the arrows stating there, and those are the 5 types of fractures.